Welcome back, everyone. Going into hour number 2 here of Court of Swords, week 28. I believe there's a roll to be made.
Yeah,
here.
I gotta make a wisdom save. I think this guy is just like a regular dude. He's a merchant, so I'm gonna give him a +1 because he's used to
He's just
being
a regular asshole trying to get money out of a PC.
Our poor, our poor adventurous crew.
Let's remember what this role is for, shall we? He's being ensorcellated by a snake woman.
We don't know that. All right, she's just doing her job.
I know a certain the barbarian who would not be about this behavior. All right. Damn Setites. Let's see how he does. Oh, he fails miraculously.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, so I think that we come back from the break to the sound, that kind of like weird processed like hissing kind of noise that indicates you're using your power. I'm thinking of, because I just watched it recently, I'm thinking of in True Blood, every time the vampires use their like glamoring power, it's like kind of a noise like that where the audience is like, oh, she's doing the thing. And so we see your snake eyes come into frame, and then we see him kind of like blink and like hazily like weave back and forth a little, and then he nods and he says, "Of course, esteemed lady, it would harm me personally to know if you and your friends were ever hurt by my inaction." And as he's speaking, he's taking a key ring from his belt, and he opens the potion cabinet and he lifts the glass case up. And he picks up the potions like gently in his hands, and he says, "Let me get a bag for you." And he kind of like glides into the back room, and he's just like left you alone in his shop, and the case is open, and there's a bunch of like apothecary like material here. What do you do?
Well, I mean, I would just put that in my pocket, but I don't want to like break the spell of suggestion. So, well, but he's totally in the back room, right?
It's true.
He doesn't have a nest cam, does he?
Yeah, exactly. You see a tiny golem perched on the top.
Yeah, anything that kind of looks interesting, I'm gonna toss in my pocket. I don't have pockets, I'm a snake. I guess I'm wearing clothes.
You got a little snake fanny pack?
I got a snake fanny pack on, you guys. It's great.
I mean, you'd have to. It'd have to be like a hip, because that's the weird thing about half snake, half people. Like you have the hip structure of like a person, but then your legs are like a snake. So you would have like an area where your waist is low enough that you could put a belt with a pouch on it. You could be wearing a backpack or have a purse or whatever too.
You guys see how the world isn't made for snake people? It's totally unfair, you guys. It's totally unfair.
Try to go to the mall, get yourself some snake jeans.
Yeah,
nope, not gonna happen.
Levi's does not make snake jeans.
So you that's why you got to go to Snake American Apparel. You find a bunch of like there's a little silver like snuff tin. He's got some little like twists of like probably like opium or heroin or something. And that stuff you can just sweep it into your bag, no problem. He won't notice. And he comes back.
My only trepidation on this is like we might want to come to this guy like in the future. Because suggestion he'll just think he just gave me that stuff, but then he'll realize that I stole some shit from him, right?
I mean, he rolled a 2 or whatever, so he's pretty fucked up.
All right,
He just doesn't know what the fuck's going on. I like going from like, let's go buy health pots. So let's fucking rob this dude.
It's classic D&D, man.
Like, let's just take 1 second to think about what it would be like. Imagine you were born the way that Nakana is, and you lived your entire life being able to just look into people's eyes and be like, do what I want, and they do it, right? Like it would be so hard to resist the temptation to just do it constantly and be like, no, I don't have to pay for this. No, stop talking to me like that. Like, just do what I want, stupid humans. There's a reason that the Yuan-Ti are the way they are. So yeah, the guy comes back, kind of this blissful smile on his face, and he's got this ornate little folded like package for you. And it's like a wooden box with some like fine paper wrapping around it in red and gold. And he presents it to you, gestures for you to take it. And he doesn't notice if you've taken anything else.
Thank you so much, my friend. I hope your gods smile upon you and have a great day. And then I'm out.
Yeah, and so you slither out of the place, and he bows to you, and he's gonna remember the rest of the day that lovely snake lady that came to his shop, and maybe later he'll be like, "Why did I do that?" But it won't bother him. He'll be okay with the decision until he goes out of business. But until then, you're
Till his
fine.
boss fires him.
Yeah, I mean it's his shop, so his
Okay,
wife
I
and
don't
children will starve.
I'm sticking it to corporate.
That's
corporate coins.
Good, excellent. You've just invented snake communism.
Hey, he's the 1%. I don't feel bad.
Yeah, it's true. He does live in the medium nice part of town.
All right, so now I'm gonna go meet up with my friends.
Yeah.
And as to show them my trust in them and my interest in working with them, and that we are all
you're not going to keep their money.
I was going to keep the money, but now I don't want them to judge me. I don't want them to see me with their judgy eyes.
I love that you're justifying keeping their money because you're like, I don't want them to think that I'm a bad person, so I'm going to steal 250 gold from them.
Okay, no. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's what's going to happen. I give them the potions. I give them their money back. And I said, it is a gift from a benefactor.
All right.
And then I smile and thumbs up, not suspiciously at all.
Yeah.
I would like to do an insight roll to see if I can tell if she's lying.
Yeah, do it.
Uh-oh.
So, Nakani, why don't you make a deception check, and then we'll see if Azrael can tell that you're lying or not. So yeah, go ahead and roll that deception skill, Morgan, and then we'll have.
I did. Do you not see it?
No.
Yeah, I think
Does
roll
anybody-
20's lagging.
Yeah,
Says
I
connection to server's been interrupted.
disconnected.
Hey, what did
I'll
you?
try to- I'll
Well, I
refresh
rolled a
there.
25.
Oh my god.
Clearly.
Of course you did.
No, I did.
Sure.
Screenshot it. Screenshot or it didn't
You
happen.
got to screenshot that shit.
It's like a really poorly photoshopped, like 25 in green.
He just opens up paint real quick.
It's just gonna take me a minute. Just give me a second.
Yeah, just one sec. Hold on.
Sorry,
gotta
my
install.
computer's lagging. I don't know why this is happening.
Well, now we all have to make insight checks to see if you're lying about your character's ability to lie.
Yeah,
it
roll
looks like
20
roll
is
20
just
we
down.
Yeah, I'm getting logged back in. It looks like there was just a server
Should I
hiccup.
just? Oh yeah, it looks like people are back.
Here we go. Okay.
I was
see.
ready to bust out
Yeah,
the old dice.
reconnected.
I'm just gonna have to reload it.
Yeah, I'm back.
Full road.
But yeah, I didn't see your.
I got
roll.
back in. I didn't see the roll
No,
there.
people are gone.
There it
People are
is.
leaving. People are
Yep,
back.
I see
Ah,
it.
there it is, yeah. Not a lot-
It
not a
indeed
lot.
crit.
Wow.
You crit? Oh
Um,
my god.
That's a good first. Well, that's
So-
not first roll, right? Is
so-
it?
so-
Or is that?
No, it's second or
Azrael,
third roll.
Azrael, if you want to roll, I mean,
Only way I can do is if I crit, maybe.
the best you can do, I think, if you crit is tie, right? So you could just tell us how Azrael gets bamboozled, like what you think. Yeah, there you go. So you got close. You got
Yeah.
19, but no.
I look at her and I'm just like, someone just gave you 5 healing potions. Okay. I would like to meet this benefactor sometime.
Maybe you have already.
You're a very mysterious woman. I like that.
I like that.
Gale waddles over and kind of peers over into the chest containing the healing potions and grabs one with his talons and kind of turns and looks at it, and then just stuffs it in his pouch and walks back over to the perch.
The wrapping paper is, and I think I don't know if any of you would notice or understand this because you're all a bunch of weird monsters, but you recognize Jubilant Black Gale, that quiet orc. You recognize that it's valuable, right? The wrapping paper in and of itself,
okay.
and the little box is valuable. Like it's wrapped in this very thin paper, and then the ribbon, this like gold ribbon that's around it, is like handwritten on the ribbon with the the lines from a poem written by like the fifth empress, who was known to be like basically the best empress the Court of Coins had ever had. She was this benevolent empress that led everyone into a golden age. And there's this long poem she wrote to her lover, and it's like written by hand on this ribbon, and that would have been very expensive.
And every single one is individually wrapped?
The box has wrapping around it, and then the potions are fine glass vials with wax seals.
Okay. Well, then maybe after I've looked at the thing, I walk back over in front of you, and slowly start taking each vial out and putting it on the ground. And then I just grab the box and walk back over to the bird and like take off the bow and just like tie it around a feather somewhere, and look at the wrapping paper and like claw it with the talons. Maybe if it's shimmering, I hold it up to a light or a torch or something and make it shimmer.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then the potions are somewhere near the door. So I've got one, but we still have, I think, 4 to...
Yeah, so there are 5. Is everybody gonna get 1 and then someone will have 2?
I'll take the 2 since I'm usually tanking a lot of damage.
Yeah, I
My
guess.
plan is to not get hit at all. I should probably take 1.
Yeah, just take
But
one
I
just in
have-
case.
I
Just in
have
case.
pretty much 0 hit points, you guys. So me not getting hit is like key to this situation.
Yep, just stay in the back with me. We'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in the back. About looks like 120 feet away.
All right. So how long do you want to like rest and relax in town before you head out on the road?
Well, it's nighttime now, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so they should. I think the battered people should maybe get some rest. Maybe take a little shower, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there is the bathhouse temple down in the it's where I think all of you went there the last time, right? The 3 of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
didn't
you
go
for
in,
referring
though.
to us as. Thank you for calling us people, by the way.
I mean, you're
not
technically
monsters.
you're technically people. You're both. You're also monsters. Yeah. So I mean, you can. I guess that's my question. Is like, how long is R&R time before you?
I think
head
no
out?
more than a day or 2. I think during the next day, we definitely go get our fortunes read,
Okay.
as
Yeah.
is
Cool.
customary. Yeah.
I want to make sure you guys get your healing time in. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say a day of hanging out in the town, Adam. We get our fortunes read and we just kind of hang out, and then we set off.
Okay. Sure. Where do you go to have your fortune told?
I think we're gonna go a little more higher class this time. We'll go to the the middle.
We
layer.
feeling good.
Yeah.
Hit up the bathhouse. Ate some fruit out of a golden plate. You know.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I guess then you're gonna go back up to the second tier and visit one of the fortune tellers there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Cool. How much are you gonna spend on the fortune teller? Give me an idea of that, and then I'll describe it accordingly.
10 gold.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's still
Is that a
that's
lot?
like
I don't even know if that's a
Damn,
lot.
that sounds like a lot.
It's a non-zero amount of gold. So the fortune thing is the human world particularly is guided by the stages of the arcana, by the tarot, and fortune telling is a big part of, like, whenever anyone undergoes something like a new relationship or a quest or a new business or a construction project or whatever, they'll visit a fortune teller. And technically, fortune tellers are paid by the guild of fortune tellers, and they do a service that is required by humans. They're kind of like born into it. They do it and they die doing it. But obviously there are ones who take tips, and there are, private ones for the kings and queens, and there are like Grasping Hands has his own fortune teller that no one else is allowed to use but him, his own personal oracle. So you can spend money on them. It just means you're going to get a nicer experience. But it is technically like a public service.
And I have a Groupon.
Yeah, of course. It's a +1 Groupon, no less. So yeah, okay. So you go to the middle district and you pay. You're willing to pay 10 gold to have your fortune told. So I think that what we find is something kind of akin to like a legal office, and maybe it is. Maybe it's there's a bunch of like legalist scholars who are part of the civic engineering of the city. They're the ones who, decide who gets what buildings and whatever. And they have a fortune branch, like the August branch of Destiny, and you can go there, and as a service you can pay them. And so you're in the office of essentially a Destiny clerk. There's a desk in the middle of the office. It looks like it's been handed down several times. So it's an antique if it had been kept in better condition. Now it's just kind of like scratched on the surface. It looks like it's seen a lot of use. There's some ink that's settled into the cracks of the lacquer on the desk. There's a single window behind with the sun coming through. The room is quite hot. And not really adorned otherwise. The four of you have seats around the front, and you've been invited in and asked to wait. And a young clerk comes in. He's wearing, and I think this is an interesting thing for you, Azrael. The human bureaucracy of the world. The myth is that it's an earthly reflection of the celestial bureaucracy. So the clothes that this bureaucrat is wearing are in some ways for you reminiscent of the heavens, right? You've seen like angelic spirits wearing similar clothes, but it's like a weird distorted kind of cargo cult version. So it's maybe amusing to you. I guess what do you feel when you see humans trying to emulate the celestial bureaucracy? Does it make you feel like pity for them, or?
Yeah, I look at them and I feel a bit of pity that they're trying to go all lavish and try to achieve the heavenly immortality that we have, and it's a little sad knowing that when they're going to die, they're just going to fade away into the void, and I will live forever. And it sort of like look down upon them a little bit.
Yeah,
when they do
I mean,
that
all
sort of
of those things, harsh as they sound, are very true. Like, yes. So this sort of nervous young bureaucrat, you can see he's got a necklace that marks what what rank he is, and he's fairly new to this job, and he comes in holding a deck of cards, and he starts when he sees you, like he's a little surprised because there's a Kenku and a Wanti and a Tianchi and a half orc, and so he's kind of startled and swallows hard, and then kind of remembers his bureaucratic training and says, Well, welcome. Yes, I suppose I'm very busy, and you must also be busy. We should to business. And he goes and he sits down, kind of adjusts his robes and like puts the deck down. You can see his hands trembling, and he says, "To what do we owe the pleasure? Is this a And he kind of like looks at you like he's not sure. He's hoping that someone will start speaking that isn't him.
We need to have our bond fortunes told, and also a fortune for a journey coming up as well.
Of course. Yes, this I can do. Please, a moment. And I think he lights a little like cone of incense, and he rings a silver bell 3 times, and rubs his hands together, claps twice. And then begins to shuffle the deck, and he draws a number of cards, setting them down on the table in an array, and asks you to begin. So he's going to need 1 card to connect each of you to each other. So my math is terrible. How many is that?
7? No, that's too much.
Let's see, Berg to Azrael. Berg to Gale, Berg to Nakana Ino, Azrael to Gale, Azrael to Nakana Ino, and then Gale to Nakana Ino. So 6.
That makes sense.
I'll deal myself. I'm not
6.
We'll just make sure everyone
on
has
the spot.
one, yeah.
Mental math
I'm
is
not
not
doing,
my forte.
I'm not. Yeah,
I'll deal
that's
myself
true,
6, and we'll draw them. Let me get my.
Chat's saying 6. It seems so.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Let's lean on them for that one.
So mechanically, for you, Morgan, and for the chat who hasn't seen this process yet, these are this is the will of heaven speaking to the connection between these two characters. It'll be up to you to interpret as we play, but it's it's basically there is an effect. The celestial bureaucracy is saying this is a bond that exists between the two of you or will exist, and if you as players bring that bond up in play, then you can get advantage on actions that are related to it. So if you have one that's about like protecting and nurturing, then you can have advantage on healing checks between those two characters, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So which pair of characters would like to go first?
Gale loves having his fortune read, so he definitely sticks his talons out first.
Okay, and to whom, Gale?
Whoever. It doesn't. He's too hasteful in his action that he doesn't
You're just
consider.
like me.
Yeah, he doesn't consider the actual decision.
Okay. So then, does somebody else want to volunteer to be
Me.
bonded? Yep. Yeah, I kind of Okay. All right. So let's
Well,
draw
then
a card.
when Gale sees that it's Akane, he scowls a little bit.
He smiles with joy.
He scowls and has
You-
flashbacks of his brethren being devoured and whole.
The first
Yeah, that must have
card.
been pretty traumatizing for you. Well, not traumatizing, I guess, because you've
I mean, it's
seen
like watching somebody
that
eat a
kind of
monkey. It's a little fucked up.
Yeah.
So the
Nah.
first card is turned over. It is a 7 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups indicates overindulgence, a dearth of options, wishful thinking, so acting without thought, letting your imagination run wild, and then anything to excess, becoming disorganized, partying to excess, letting your willpower wane in favor of dangerous behavior. So if the
overindulging
two-
of birds.
If the two of you, and that's an interesting thing. So this goes both ways. So for you, I think maybe Nakana, like this is certainly the biggest potential meal you could imagine. You see this little prey animal before you, and so that's the bond between you. So the other thing too is that like if the two of you go out partying or get in over your heads, you can call on this bond to get advantage on those rolls. Cool. All right. So Gale, is the 7 of Cups. Okay. Who's next?
I'll be next
Okay. And Azrael, who do you want the card to bond you with?
with Gale. I'll do Gale.
Okay. All right. So the fortune teller nervously turns over another card. It is the 2 of Cups.
Uh-oh.
So the 2 between the two of you, the
Are we going to
2
get
of
married?
Cups,
What is this?
It does
two?
look romantic.
It is actually the card of truth.
Oh, I already know. Before you even read it, it's that we finally bond over our different religions. That's the
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Healing a severed relationship, bringing together two opposites, letting bygones be bygones, coming to a satisfactory agreement, declaring peace, forgiving and forgetting, cementing friendship, establishing partnership, working together and sharing. So this is a great one. So as long as you two have this bond, when you're cooperating with one another, it's advantageous for both of you. This is a great card for PCs to get.
Great.
For sure.
Nice.
Cool. All right. And then Berg.
Yeah, we'll do
yours
Berg and
with-
Gale.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let me draw you a card here. Yours is the Empress. All right. So one of the arcana. The Empress represents nurturance and caring. It's a very protective card. It's about abundance through sort of family, a sense of that kind of connection. So whereas the 2 of Cups is a connection of equals, this is a sort of mother and child, a protector and youth kind of thing. I'll let you two figure out in play which is which, but you'll be in an advantageous position to protect one another and to keep each other from both literal and figurative harm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Cool. Okay. All right. Do you want to do Berg? Do you want to do one with Azrael? Do you want to do yours now, Berg?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So Berg, you and Azrael, your card. Oh dear. Your card is the 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands, the 10s are all bad. The 10 of Wands is burden and struggle. This is the pushing a boulder uphill problem. Never having time to relax, being taxed to your limit, having to take responsibility for things that are not your fault, refusing to say no, taking blame for another, debt, and hardship.
It doesn't look good. I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
All in those
Yeah.
sticks, whatever they are.
Maybe this has to deal with Berg's enslavement and how it's now my problem as well, because it's causing us to like having to hide him in town, and maybe it's something to do with that. Like,
Yeah, and we've seen
Could
the
be.
ten of wands or 10 of saves before, and it recognizes one character having to carry another, and so maybe Azrael, maybe you start to feel that. You look over at Berg and look at the card, and you start to feel like, oh, yeah, maybe I feel a little bit of like grudging, like I'm having to take care of Berg in a way that I'm not happy with. And then Berg, you might also feel the same way, right? Like the two of you
Yeah.
are the warriors of the party, and maybe there's a sense of like competition, one of you dragging the other along. Cool. Okay. So we need Berg and Nakaino and Azrael and our snake lady. So which one, Morgan? Which one do you want to do first?
Berg.
Berg first. Okay. So your card connecting you and Berg is the 4 of wands, and the 4 of
Looks
Looks
wands
like another happy one, like a party one.
Yeah. The 4 of... Oh, this is good. This is a good one for Berg. Berg, the 4 of wands is about getting out of an oppressive situation, cutting loose, breaking free of your bonds, escaping unhappy circumstances. So I don't know, how do you react when you see this card? Because everyone in the setting knows instinctively like what these cards mean. So when this card is turned over in relation to you and this new person, you immediately see like someone who might free you from bondage. The inverse here is the potential to like prevent that. Like, you may be looking at a new master. But what do we see on Berg's face when that card is turned?
I think Berg looks at it and kind of like his eyes widen a little bit, and then he looks up at Nakana and is just like, and then cracks a little bit of smile. Like he tries to hold it back, but just the edges of his mouth kind of widen a little bit, and then you see it extinguish from his face, but.
And can you
For a
tell me
moment,
about?
you can see Berg kind of like just hoping,
Can you tell me about these bonds that Berg is under?
Yeah, I mean you would see on Berg's wrist a single like kind of brass bracer, and you may or may not be familiar with them, but among humans they're used to like magically enslave people. You see them on orcs all the time because orcs and half orcs are. They're enslaved. The dwarves fought a war with them, defeated them in eons past, and enslaved them, and have been selling them to humans. It's totally legal. Berg could legally belong to someone. Everyone assumes that he does because he's wearing the slave bracer, and so maybe it's up to you, but you might assume he's the slave of like Azrael. But you've never seen Azrael with the baton that goes with it, the sort of controlling wand. So that's the thing you would know just from seeing. And I don't know how much Nakana like thinks about or cares about orcs as a people, but that generally they're slaves.
And also, like if Nakana took care to look too, there's that little bit of like a marking that is very clearly kind of in the way of like a branding that pokes through the top of his armor.
Yeah, Berg hasn't spent a lot of time this adventure shirtless, but we've seen many times earlier.
There's still
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
usually he's glistening with sweat and
There was a rust monster attack. It got kind of erotic. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, so
Well,
you can.
I think this is great because, I had to leave my people because I wasn't granted the freedom that I thought I should have. So that's it's something that's important to me.
Yeah, cool. All right, so then Azrael and Nakana, your bond is the 2 of wands. Yeah, lots of wands today.
Yeah.
The 2 of wands represents boldness, taking a risk to get what you want, gambling, taking the initiative, speaking your mind and facing your fear directly, and as a result, having personal power, commanding respect, directing those around you, calling the shots, and having authority. Basically, it's about being in charge. The guy in the art holds the world in his hand and gazes out into the horizon as a leader. And so this card represents taking charge. And it might mean that the 2 of you will struggle over that with one another, or that one of you will support the other in achieving it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So again, we'll leave these on the table if you need to return to them to see what they mean. And I'll link. There's a real easy website that you can look up the things if you forget what your card meant.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are placed out on the table before you, and then of course you asked for a reading for the Endeavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the clerk he smiles at the array, kind of like watching your reactions, because that's what he's been doing. He places the cards and then watches you to see how you react to them, and he smiles when he sees that it's having some effect on you, and he says to Azrael, because you're the least frightening of the group, he says, if you could tell me before I draw, Tianqi, what endeavor you are undertaking. Is this a long journey? Do you seek a goal? Please, whatever you can tell me will help the fates guide my hand.
We are embarking on a dangerous adventure to face a dangerous foe.
And he smiles and he looks
Nice
at
and
all of
vague.
you. And that's fine. He smiles and looks at you and sees that you're all like armed and equipped, and he says, then it is wise for you to consult the fates. I imagine that in the earthly realm you are certainly worthy of dealing with any task before you, Tianqi, but a wise man always asks for the help of the Arcana, and he draws a card, and this is the embarrassing one where he like draws death, and he's like, oh god, I'm so sorry. So he draws a card for your journey, and in keeping with the theme,
That's it.
it is the
Three of
three of wands.
One of wands. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he turns the card, and he looks at it and kind of ponders a moment, and he says, a good omen, I think. You seek out the unknown, going in quest of new adventure, leaving behind safety and security in favor of the horizon. This, I think, is a good card. But keep in mind, leadership will be important. And he's looking right at you, Azrael, because again, he's assuming that the most human of you is in charge of these weirdos. He says, you will have to have a strong hand on the tiller, a strong eye for the future, having foresight, a leader with a vision for the future. That will see you safely through. Squabbling amongst yourselves will only bring you misfortune. Remember this on your quest.
Luckily, we're under the guidance of a very intelligent woman here who will guide us to safety, I'm sure.
He tries really hard not to make a face like, oh god, you're fucked. Like he swallows hard and nods and like kind of looks at you apologetically, and he says, yes, of course. Strong leadership comes in many forms. And you hear someone in the other room, because this is like a side office of a larger clerk's office where they're all filling out paperwork and doing that. You hear someone shout a name, and he sort of starts and stands up, and he says, "My apologies, honored guests, but our time has run out. I have business to attend to. Please sit with your reading if you wish, but the fates have spoken." And he bows.
Does he
and then there's that awkward moment where he like waits to see if you're going to pay him.
Does he take the rest of the tarot cards with him?
No, he'll leave the deck on the
Are
table.
these is this a nicer deck?
You have
Jubilant's just like, is it shiny?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
I mean, no, these ones are probably made like by some governmental office.
Government
and they all
issue.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're very literally government issue tarot cards.
Okay.
So yeah, they're nice in the sense that they're pretty like sturdy, but they're not they're not really like.
I would imagine any tarot cards too, unless like particularly well kept, they're probably fairly worn, just because they do this all the time, right? So.
Yeah, his are pretty new, but so is he.
Yeah.
I think I reach
I
over
hand
to
him the 10 gold and put it in his hand and say, thank you very much for your services.
Yeah, he takes the pouch of gold and bows deeply to you, and he says, "Fountain, guide your actions, Tianqi, and good luck." And he sweeps out of the room.
I was gonna give him more, but okay. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean he's in a hurry, so so you don't really have to. Cool. So you have your fortune allayed before you. The fates have spoken in the ways that you are bonded together. It's a wand heavy read.
Yeah.
No swords and no coins of which to speak. So you're not likely to in the future benefit greatly from material wealth. But yeah. Interesting stuff. Very magic too. Wands are tied to the unearthly, which is good for a bunch of non-humans.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you for saying non-humans.
Yeah, much better than monsters. I don't think we do anything else on our day off. At least I don't. I can't speak for the rest of the group.
Oh, and how many rations do y'all have?
I have 7 of 10, so yeah, I guess I would grab some more. How much is it? Just buy 3 rations.
Well, can't you just find rations because you're...
Yeah, like
I can, but we're not always in
feed
a
us
place
just
like
in case
that.
we get into a place where we.
Okay.
The last time we had to
Right.
crawl through a cave for a week and didn't.
If we end up in a cave again, like there's no ration, there's no like, I mean, there kind of is. I guess maybe you could find. I don't know. I guess Adam could speak to that.
Having
but
at
you were in
least
like a
10 is
putrid
probably-
like cave where only mushrooms existed, so you never know.
The exact ability that you're referring to, does leave it up to our interpretation whether food is available. But if you were in a cave, maybe there would be like vermin you could catch and eat and like edible fungus and stuff. But definitely more in the.
Sounds amazing. I'm in.
Yeah. If you've never had a fungus dead mouse sandwich.
Tastes
So-
good and has a nice beat along to it too.
So you can take the rest of the day to get ready or whatever, check your gear, polish your armor, or you can head out now. It's still fairly early in the day.
I think we could just head out now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Is everyone else okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, I think we got all ready.
Yeah.
We're going our fortune, then going right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So you've already got all your gear like ready with you, and so you like leave out. And,
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Okay.
I don't think we have any other supplies. We recovered the rope, right? I recovered the rope because they cut the rope, which means
Yes,
I was
yeah.
able
They
to
cut
get
the
it
rope,
back.
so you
So
got it
we have our ropes then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Then yeah. We have
Uh,
health pots, guys.
We do.
Holy
Are we
shit.
getting
Oh
horses?
my god, yeah.
Let me roll how beneficent he's feeling, because you did lose the last horses.
That's true.
But he does want you to get there quickly. No, he'll give you some more draft horses. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
We
each of
did-
you is given a horse.
We did complete the quest though, so
Yeah, you did
What's
what he
more
asked.
valuable to him, us completing his task or some horses?
Yeah, I mean he's a rich man too, so he's got all kinds of horses. So you're given some riding horses, and set out on your way. I mean I think you leave the monastery of Baya behind you and ascend up the long road towards the plateau and towards the jungle, knowing that on the other side of the jungle, several weeks travel to the north is the city of Jiangbi and where the company holds its court. But you're passing through this sort of wild land to get there. And I think several days pass on the road. What is traveling like? Are you do you make an effort to kind of like talk at camp, or is this sort of silent travel? Do you keep to yourselves?
Well, I mean, I think that like having a team that knows each other, and I mean that's why I give the money back too. Like I want a team that trusts each other and knows each other a little bit. So I try to share like a little bit about myself. I'm not going to talk about like the ultimate goal that much, or like any of my grand plans, but just things about like what it was. Just people I assume are curious what it's like growing up as a yuan tea and that kind of thing. So like any kind of talk that might make them feel better and like me a little bit, or feel a little invested in me. And I'm always looking for shiny things also to give to my friend.
Oh, okay. So you're making an effort to put Jubilant Black Ale at ease.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
I
eat
feel
you.
like a little bad about the whole eating thing.
So I guess for the rest of the party, does it work?
I mean, it depends. Is this like a daily, or is this like an every shiny thing that you see? Or are you just pulling gold out of your pouch and saying, hey, I found this? Or like what?
Yeah, like if I see something shiny, maybe I like pass it along, or I'm not trying to do too much. I'm just trying to like make like a little overture of like, hey, I know maybe we didn't get off on the right foot, but like I got your back.
Okay. I
Like
think,
traveling along. Go ahead.
I think over the course of the travel, like when you first do it, I'd kind of like side eye you and then grab it real quick to try to like make sure you don't see me grabbing it or something like that. And then over the course of the travels towards the end of the journey to get there, it's like an expectant thing. So like every day I wake up excited for it, like waiting for the moment to occur when I get a shiny thing.
You're being trained.
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
even
being
know
trained
it.
at this point, but I don't even know it exactly. Yeah. So over the course of the journey, it definitely loosens the hostility between the two of us.
Yeah, and I want it to be genuine too. Like, I'm not that bad of a person.
I love picturing anytime Jubilant gets excited, like he's just doing the head bobbing thing, the bird head bobbing thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where's the shiny?
Yep. That's every time I see Nakayuno come over and approach, the head starts bobbing up and down because I know the shiny thing's coming. I'm totally being trained, but it's effective.
Nice. Okay, cool. For food, I guess, because Berg, you're out hunting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that probably one night, because you head into the jungle pretty quick, and I think that the kind of food that would be available, obviously there's lots of plants to eat, and well enough which ones are edible and which ones aren't. Lots of fruit. So you'll come back with a big thing of bananas or whatever. But I think one night after some exertion, you can tell us what it looks like when you come back, but you stalk and kill a wild boar in the kind of like lowlands of the jungle. So when you return to the party, this victorious, what do we see? And I assume you're not like out hunting in your full like armor or whatever, but yeah, give us set that scene. You returning after this.
Yeah, no, Berg, when he hunts, he definitely takes off his armor because it's very, very hard to remain stealthy. Most of the time it's him standing still, but either way, when he does have to move, he doesn't want to risk any sort of noise, clanking from his armor. So when he comes back, you see Berg only with just one mighty, arm slung over his right shoulder is his spear. What is it? Spear? It's a javelin. I'm assuming he just used the javelin to kind of keep the boar on there, and there's just boar blood dripping down across his chest. He doesn't give a shit though.
Yeah,
he's sweating, but he doesn't look completely exhausted, and he's got a little bit of a smile on his face as he comes up, but again, mainly to himself. And as he gets into the light, he takes away the smile and just business as usual, grumble Berg. And he's coming approaching the camp.
And Berg, are you the one that prepares food for everybody too? Like, do you cook it, or do you just hunt it and then someone else is the one that makes it taste good and puts fire to it?
I think sometimes Berg prepares it, but when Berg prepares food, he doesn't really take too much care to make spice. Like maybe he'll put salt, pepper, but as far as anything fancy now, Berg likes the taste of roasted flesh, whether it be fancily made or
right. Your favorite spice is fire.
Yeah.
I apply fire to it, then I eat it. Okay. So that's a regular thing, and like some days are more bountiful than others, right? This boar is kind of a rare occasion, but you find lots of food. This is a verdant area, if dangerous, right? You have to avoid like poison snakes, right, and like there's lots of insects and stuff. So you're in a position to this hunting is dangerous, but I don't know if anybody notices that really, right? You just go out into the jungle, and a few hours later you come back with food.
Berg does what has to be done. He doesn't need to be pat on the back.
Yeah, it turns out an entire life of doing what you're told and not being appreciated for it. So. Yeah. Okay. And then Azrael, do we catch you? I guess the other thing I wanted to know is, do we see your familiar at any point during this, or does Balder stay in the blade?
Yeah. Once we're out of town, I release the Balder to fly around, and he just sort of does circles around us in the sky, just scouting around. And he has some control over the body, and he's so great to be out of an inanimate object that he loves to fly and fly and fly around. It just feels good to move. And we mostly see him in the sky, flying around.
Right, cool. So there was this brief like calling ritual where you summoned him, and then after that he's just like flying around, kind of checking things out for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think that this is like halfway, maybe a little more than halfway on the trip towards this camp. And you decided you're just gonna like roll up the main road, right? You're gonna like follow the road till you find their path, and then go up that way. You're not gonna sneak through the jungle or anything.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was
the
what we were.
Okay.
We're riding on horses and stuff too, so it's kind of harder to
All right. So you're heading up the road, and I think ahead of you, the road is slowly like curving. And ahead of you, you spot whoever's in the front. You spot that there's an obstruction in the road. It looks like a tree has fallen and landed in the path. It's a ways up ahead of you. You spot it long before you're right up in front of it. And it's like blocking the path. There's heavy foliage to either side of this road, so you're not going to be able to go around it. Do you approach, or what do you do when you notice this obstruction?
Can I light it on fire?
Yeah, you're just like, whatever it is, I'm gonna burn it down.
Well, I wouldn't, except you were so like, you pointed it out, which makes me suspicious of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's significant enough. It's significant enough that you'd have to stop, right? It's not like a part of the road is flooded out. You could just go over it. It looks like a tree has fallen into the road, and you either have to clear it or find some way around.
Oh, so it's like a giant tree.
Yeah. These trees are quite large.
So somebody
tumbled
maybe did it on purpose.
Maybe you'd have to get closer to it to check it out.
All right. I mean, we can get like 120 feet, and then I can launch a fire. Well, actually, can we have the owl scope a little bit to see if it's some kind of ambush?
Yeah. I'll send the owl to like go amongst the trees as stealthily as it can to just look around as close as it can get.
Okay.
And make it act like a bird, so it's not drawing suspicion.
You're gonna have your owl, which is a bird, act like a bird.
Like a bird.
No.
Yeah.
Before he flies off, I'm looking at the owl and going like this, just flapping my wings, trying to get him to act like a bird.
I don't know, man. I have to make performance checks to act like a human most of the time, so I understand. Okay, so the owl, you can see through its eyes, right? That's how.
Yeah,
that's how
I
that
can.
works. Okay.
I can channel through it.
What does that look like because we haven't seen that yet? What does it look like for you? Do your eyes like turn white? Do you just close your eyes? What's warg mode for you?
They start glowing like a bright light, and so does the owl as well. And the owl is much more subtle, but for my eyes they're glowing bright, and his just like the slit in the owl eye sort of glows a bit.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So let's make a perception check. You should have access to Balder's little character sheet on the list there. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, just pop it open and make a perception check for Balder, and you have advantage.
Okay. Oh, this is so different from mine.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the NPC sheets are really different. You can just click Wisdom because he doesn't have the skill. All right, 3.
Wow.
Nice.
3.
Well done.
Balder proves.
Oh, he has advantage of 7.
7. Okay, much better. All right, so Balder, it's perfect. Okay, I know what we're gonna do. So Balder makes a long pass around, and then your connection to Balder is suddenly cut. We see you kind of like lurch in your seat, and I know your familiar's only been around a minute, but it's gone, just like that, like just snap, just disappears. You see it fly behind some trees, and then it's gone. You feel like a sudden jolt of pain, and whatever happens when your familiar dies happens. And you're just like this, like you take a deep breath and you feel this like dropping sensation, and then it's just like gone. And I think at this point, y'all hear a loud, like very loud, like kind of ear splitting, like screech, and it like shakes the trees. And you all start to look around, and we'll cut to break there before we see what it is.
Great.
Fucking rip your owl, dude. Jesus.
Yeah. Your owl's already gone.
Damn.
You didn't even the first foray into the wild.
To be fair, he's got 11 AC and 1 hit point, so
True.
you can resummon him. But he just got
Yeah.
It takes an hour.
All right, well, let's take another break. Still got 2 hours left to go. We'll find out what we're fighting right after this and probably get into a big old fight. So stay tuned. We'll see you after the break.